It's Yogi J and the Hungarian Hippie from Inspire Yoga, and welcome to this class where we're going to learn how to do the pose Sukhasana. Sukhasana. You'll notice when you go to yoga classes that the postures are always given in English first, and then usually they're repeated in the Sanskrit language second. We do that to uphold the tradition, to keep the tradition going. Sukhasana. Sukha can be translated as gentle, easy, relaxed. Asana is translated usually as seat, pose, posture for meditation. It has a purpose. It's not just a seat or a posture or a pose. It's for meditation. There's a reason you're doing it. So Sukha and Asana, when you put them together, Sukhasana, it's an easy, soft pose, posture, or seat for meditation, even though it's not very easy for most beginners. With practice, like everything else in yoga, it does become easier. Right, Jasper? So here I am sitting on the floor, and you don't have to sit on the floor to do these poses. You can sit in a chair, you can sit on the pillow, you can sit on a couple of yoga blocks if you have them. Here I have 2 yoga blocks, and you can pick them up anywhere, at any sporting goods store or yoga studio. And if you put them side by side, they make a beautiful, supportive seat for your sits bones, for underneath your buttocks. When you get your pelvic bowl, so this part here, your pelvic bowl, from the belly button down to the pelvic floor, when you get that up off the floor, it's a lot easier for your back, it's a lot easier on your knees, and usually your hips as well. So it's a good idea to always get your pelvic bowl up off the floor when you're doing floor yoga. Of course, if you're doing chair yoga, you're in a chair. And if you're standing up doing your postures, you're standing up. On the floor, have a couple of yoga blocks if you can. Now, if you don't have any yoga blocks, you take this pillow. You find a pillow that is supportive and firm to go underneath the sits bones. You don't want a pillow that's too soft and cushy, because your sits bones, the bottom of your pelvic bowl, those ischial tuberosities, they may become unevenly balanced if your pillow is all over the place, not even, too thin. If it's too thin, you're basically sitting on the floor anyway. So find a cushion, if you're choosing a cushion, that is nice and firm and even where your sits bones are. So once you've got your pelvic bowl and your sits bones placed in a comfortable position, evenly grounded, you start to think about the other aspects of the posture, the asana. Normally when we sit down on the floor, we're kind of curved forward. The spine is in a forward flexion. And that's not so great for breathing. Definitely not good for posture. So you want to try to improve that. What I do is imagine that I have a string on the crown of my head, and I gently pull up on that string, and this gives me the sensation that I'm lifting and lengthening my whole spine from the bottom to the top. A nice elongation, a nice lengthening. After you feel this sensation, you want to notice what your shoulders are doing. You can lengthen the spine and still have the shoulders forward like this because of chronic tension in those shoulders. So when I lengthen my spine, I then usually start rolling my shoulders, whether it's one at a time or simultaneously, doesn't matter, just to relax them a little bit and then bring them back and try to droop them down. Let them hang far away from your ears. You want some nice space between the earlobes and the shoulder area. Not this. Okay, get them down. I feel the muscles between my shoulder blades, and I engage them just a little tiny bit. Don't be too strenuous. Don't be like you're in boot camp or something. Just a nice engagement of the muscles between the shoulder blades to open up the chest, that heart space, and to relax the shoulders down away from your ears. So I've got my crown lifting up, my shoulders down, back, my chest somewhat proud, but not too proud. And then I'm going to come down to my core area and feel all that space and notice it. And my pelvic bowl. I'm going to rock my pelvic bowl forward and backward a little bit. My pelvic bowl from the belly button down to the pelvic floor. My pelvic bowl with all of those organs contained inside of it. The organs of elimination, lower digestion organs. I'm going to rock this forward and backwards until I feel like I have organically found a neutral pelvic bowl. How do you know? People will say. It's all about feeling and sensations. I keep rocking until it feels like I'm in a neutral position. It's very comfortable. I don't feel like I'm slouching this way, and I don't feel like I'm sticking out this way. I feel fairly neutral. That's how you know. When you're in your practice and you're learning the asanas, the postures for meditation, you always want to find, you're seeking out that perfect, maybe not perfect, that wonderful balance, the yin and the yang, the sthira and the sukha. When we say that a posture must have two qualities, sthira and sukha, what we mean is you want to find that balance between it being stable and safe and strong and soft and comfortable and relaxing so you can meditate there. You want to find that balance between the strength and the softness, the sthira and sukha. Sthira and sukha. The strength and the softness. So you're in your pose, Sukhasana. You're looking for sthira and sukha, strength and softness. All of my strength should be in the core in this pose. If I have a very weak core, it's going to be much harder for me to sit here in sthira and sukha. So sitting up, practicing this position, whether you're on the floor or in a chair, it's building core strength. And after you build some core strength, after some time, you'll find it much easier for your postures to have the quality of sthira and sukha. After I relax my shoulders, and I lift my chest, and I lengthen up through the crown, and I ground my sits bones and pelvic bowl evenly to whatever it's sitting on, I'm going to notice how are my legs, and if I need to move them around a little bit to make them more comfortable, I'm going to do it. I'm going to notice my breath now. If you haven't already watched my video on the 4-part breath, I strongly suggest that you do. And if you want to just continue with this without watching that video first, all we're really doing is a very relaxed, balanced, even breath. When we control our breath, we call that pranayama. So I'm practicing a relaxed pranayama. My breath is even, very slow coming into my nostrils. There's a little pause. There's a long, slow exhalation through the nostrils and a little pause. There's 4 parts to that breath. The inhale, pause, the exhale, the pause. 4 parts. Say that I have a sinus condition and I can't breathe in and out through my nose today. I'll use my mouth as a second option, because I do have to breathe. Now that I have my breath moving in a very relaxed and slow manner, I have my crown lifting up, my shoulders down and back, chest somewhat proud. I'm using core strength to stay upright, building core strength. My legs are kind of relaxed. What about my arms? My arms can go behind my body if that's more comfortable, as long as they are loose and relaxed. Elbows, forearms, hands and fingers included. Maybe I like my hands on my thighs. Maybe that's more comfortable for me, so I try that. Do I like my hands facing down? Is that more comfortable? Do I prefer them up? It's all about comfort. It's all about sthira and sukha. Strength and comfort. Maybe I would like a hand gesture, a hand mudra in this pose of Sukhasana. Well, I can put my pointer finger to the tip of my thumb. That's a nice comfortable mudra, Gayan mudra. I see how that feels. It looks like an okay. The remaining 3 fingers are just soft and relaxing. Maybe I would like Namaskara mudra. My hands coming together in prayer position. Both hands applying equal pressure. Don't allow one arm to dominate over the other. I try that hand mudra gesture. A bringing together of 2 body parts. A mudra. Whichever hand mudra I choose, doesn't matter. What matters is that it feels organically natural for you, and that when you are in that pose of Sukhasana, that it has sthira and sukha. Safety, strength, stability, comfort, ease. That relaxation aspect. You want both. So you are custom designing your pose all the time. Every pose you are in, including Sukhasana, you custom design to suit your conditions. You may have a hip replacement. You may have a damaged knee. You may have some slipped discs or bursitis. We have a lot of issues in this container, this physical body. So we have to keep adjusting all of our asanas, postures for meditation, to have sthira and sukha, that nice balance. In Sukhasana, my breath is even, I'm controlling it, practicing pranayama. Now, I go deeper. I enter dhyana, the meditation, the best part. A nice breath in, a good sigh out. Do that as often as you like. And then all of my awareness is fixated on the sensations I feel internally. I'm completely absorbed in what I feel, way more than what I think. Try to get away from the thinking and come more into the feeling zone. You feel everything. You feel the floor. You feel the clothing on your skin. You feel the temperature of the room. You notice any smells, any tastes on the tongue, any shapes or shadows behind the closed eyelids. And if they're a little bit open, those eyes, you have a focal point. You're staring at something to help calm the brain, instead of the eyes being all over the place. So if you have them a little bit open, those sleepy eyes, half open, mostly closed, you're staring at that spot and you notice that spot. You really notice that spot. So you're aware of all your senses. Sensory awareness, pratyahara. This is the pose Sukhasana. Controlling my breath, pranayama. Practicing sensory awareness, pratyahara. And if I'm patient and calm, it will lead me into meditation, dhyana. Focus. When the mind tries to distract you by thinking, notice it. But come right back to sensations and breath every single time, even if it's 1,000 times in 5 minutes. This is how we practice meditation. There you have it, your posture of Sukhasana. Congratulations. Let's end with our typical prayer that every single living thing in the universe, please be free from suffering. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Namaste.